Straight to Manchester City versus Manchester United.
See, I think this is nowhere near the NLD. I actually think they were better when I was growing up, when Man City weren't that good and they would win some of them because they'd they'd get up for it. But I think in recent times, maybe because it's just so one-sided, it just doesn't capture the imagination.
Rivalries, we absolutely love them. Audi versus Lidl, Austin versus The Rock, Mark versus Gary Neville. They're everywhere, up and down the world. But in football, they are the quintessential thing that brings me back every time, whether it's my beloved Birmingham City versus Aston Villa, Manchester United versus Manchester City.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. We'll come on to that. But they make football what it is. But what's the best rivalry? What's the worst rivalry? And what makes you think, is that even a rivalry? Mark, welcome back to the channel. You must be delighted to be back.
I am.
You loved it.
Contractually obliged,
Yes,
but back.
Exactly. You say it with a big smile on your face. Well, I want to know, what is the best rivalry in the UK? So I've got a selection of derbies, selection of games here, and we're going to rank them from pure hatred down to meh.
Okay.
So where do you want to start? Let's start with Arsenal versus Tottenham, which is one of those ones for me, if I'm looking at it, if we're going from pure hatred to the amount of times it's played, to incidents that have happened, it's definitely not meh, but it's definitely not at the top for me.
I think Arsenal Spurs as a rivalry is a little bit more. It's a bit mainstream, isn't it? Because it's like the NLD. It's got its own thing going on. But having said that, you look at the title race last year. Spurs were willing to give up Champions League football to let Man City beat them to stop Arsenal winning the league. So it obviously matters a lot. But I think to the external fan, it's probably a little bit overhyped. The NLD. So I wouldn't say. I think it's a credible derby, but I wouldn't say it's incredible.
I'm gonna go for decent watch, which is in the middle.
Yeah.
And you think back to those, when it was the 4-4, Harry Redknapp, David Bentley, I think from the halfway line, stuff like that.
It really matters to them.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of these, but then someone's filter through. Let's go straight to Manchester City versus Manchester United.
See, I think this is nowhere near the NLD.
No,
I don't. I think it really matters to the city of Manchester.
Yeah.
And obviously I know a lot of people like Ricky and Beth and Kev, and it matters because they're going to see a lot of the fans and stuff like that.
When I lived in Manchester, it really changed my opinion on it. Like I went to one, the Pogba one when he scored. Like I went to that game, and it like
there's been some crackers. I mean, the Michael Owen one.
I actually think it's a bit more feistier than. Maybe on the level of North London derby, if not a bit more. But that's just because of my own experience.
I actually think they were better when I was growing up, when Man City weren't that good and they would win some of them because they'd they'd get up for it. And then I think they also had a bit of a good period again when United was sort of decent, the end of Sir Alex Ferguson's era, that Pogba one with Mourinho. But I think in recent times, maybe because it's just so one-sided, it just doesn't capture the imagination.
Let's go decent watch then, because we're trying to agree on this all together. Let's go the first major EFL one at the moment, Blackburn versus Burnley.
I've got no.
Now that is a tasty one up there.
But I've got no knowledge of it.
That's an extra policing one.
I can't really give it meh because I might be missing the spot completely. But then again, I can't say it's a decent watch because I just wouldn't watch it.
Let's go not bothered then.
Yeah.
It's not a meh.
Yeah.
Oh no,
even the Scampy fries aren't bothered.
Last time in the video.
Not
Liverpool versus Manchester United.
See, I think what's the top tier for this?
Pure hatred.
Yeah, I think I don't like the word hatred. I'm a bit against that. I don't like the word hate.
High horse.
No, but I don't like hatred.
Yeah, but that's if we're talking rivalry,
Rivals,
I
not
hate
enemies.
the Villa.
Rivalries, not enemies.
I hate the Villa.
No, look, this has to be at the top because this has credibility. And when I was growing up, like Anfield, watching Man United on the TV, it would be like this game has me on the edge the whole time. It's a proper rivalry with two clubs with proper histories, with proper fans, and we're not even from the same city. So Liverpool, Man United at Anfield, or Man United, Liverpool at Old Trafford eclipses the Merseyside derby and the Manchester derby. So for me, it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest one in the Premier League.
I don't know if I would go. Great Viewing's the one under that. Is this pure hatred? Because to me, the top of that is...
But I'm a Man United fan, so I'm going to put it
I'm
going to
go Great Viewing.
Okay.
I'm going to go Great Viewing because I think it's lost its edge a little bit, and sometimes the teams from top to bottom. Swansea-Cardiff, maybe one, again, you don't know on, but this is one of those games for me. If it's on in the EFL, I'll be watching it because they both hate each other. They've sort of missed each other a little bit, then played each other a little bit. For me, I like this one.
Not bothered.
Not bothered at all? I'll go class for that one because I think that is a very tasty one.
Well, it's yours.
And you need to expend your knowledge a little bit more. Stoke versus Port Vale. No, I'm only joking. Sheffield Wednesday versus Sheffield United. Now, go on.
This is an interesting one because all weekend I've had loads of people messaging me saying, on about it. I vaguely remember it years ago when you'd have had probably John Gale for Sheffield United and Chris Waddle for Sheffield Wednesday.
That's literally probably like 2 decades ago.
Yeah. I have more knowledge of this one than some of the ones you've mentioned, so I'd say decent watch.
One of the best games of football I watched, I can't remember the score, it was at Hillsborough. It was a Sheffield, I think David, it was just a very good derby.
It really matters as well.
It does really matter there. I'm going to go class for that one. Next one. Now I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Blues versus Villa.
Well, I've got a lot of experience of this because obviously living in Birmingham. And
did you ever police one?
I did used to work in the police about 15 years ago, and it used to go off like a bottle of pop, proper. So big time. So first-hand experience of it. The thing is, they don't play each other that often because they never tend to be in the same league. But when they play each other, that's a proper rivalry. So I would say that's a decent watch.
I would say this is pure hatred for me because you have to go back over what's happened in the games when we have played. Obviously, when Peter Enkelman let one through his leg, the fan came on the pitch. What happened when the guy smacked Jack Grealish in the face, which I'm definitely not condoning, but I think you have that level of pure hatred.
It is. He's right. He's not wrong. It's proper. It's proper volatile.
Yeah, I'm going to go pure hatred for that because I'm the one controlling the tier list at the moment. Nottingham Forest versus Derby.
I'm going to say county.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, but when's that ever been played?
I think it happened in the early 90s.
It was good 8 times. John Gale was playing. Nottingham Forest versus Derby County.
Tommy Johnson. Trying to think of Mark Draper.
Derby
County Forest. I mean, look, I grew up in Nottingham and some of my mates support Forest and they'd call Derby people things to do with 4-legged animals that you have at Easter, sheep. But
they called the Rams.
Same thing. It's just a sheep with horns showing off. But I don't get this at all. I don't
get what?
I don't get this rivalry at all. Even growing up in Nottingham,
Why?
I just don't get it. Well, because Brian Clough managed Derby and did well, and then he managed Forest and did well.
Yeah, but not to the level that he managed Forest. And it's like when Steve Bruce went to Aston Villa. Like you soon cast a shadow over what you've done before.
You're talking to the wrong person. For me, this is meh.
I'll go class. I'll go decent watch then on that one. Celtic versus Rangers.
Oh, this is the absolute top.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this on the way down.
And I've watched loads of these as well.
Exactly. And, in my head, I was like, they play each other 4 times a year, and probably more because of cup finals. But then still to have that pure hatred where I think away fans might be banned still at one of the grounds.
For me, I think this is the biggest one in British football. And arguably, I don't know. I mean, I think some of the Argentinian ones look good.
Yeah,
River Plate, Boca, isn't it? That's a big one.
Did you ever do one of those?
I'd like to go to it, yeah.
But Thogden?
Yeah, I think Celtic, we throw him into Celtic, Rangers, whatever the top list is.
Pure hatred. Yeah, because I think that one is absolutely...
Well, they don't even let the fans in sometimes, do they?
Well, exactly, yeah. And to be 4 times a year and to still hate each other like that, I think is...
There's reasons, Will. Let's not go into
Well, exactly, but that...
Who would you rather win? Don't answer
Football is always the winner. Let's just do a few more. Everton, Liverpool. Now, for me, this really goes down the bottom. Just because...
I think it matters to Everton.
It matters more to Everton than it does Liverpool. I think Liverpool's one, like you, is Manchester United. I think that, and in a nice way, they are sort of friendly. One of the best games last season was when Everton beat Liverpool.
Everton-Liverpool, actually, historically, is not a bad game to watch. It's just
a good game to watch.
You just want Everton to be closer to Liverpool in quality.
Yeah.
I think if you ever had, like what you've got in Manchester with Man City and Man United, I think Everton-Liverpool would be a better derby because they actually have had some really good games, and there's a lot of dislike, I think, between Everton and Liverpool.
Where would you put this? Top's pure hatred, bottom's
I think it used to be a good watch, but it's probably dropped now.
I might go. I'd maybe not. I'm not bothered by it, so it'd have to go decent watch. If it's on, I'm watching it.
Used to be. No.
Let's go not bothered then.
Well, because I think Everton have made me not bothered, but I think only recently Everton aren't good anymore. But when they were half decent, they could make a game of it home and away. But now it's just become a bit not bothered.
Current day, not
used
bothered.
To watch it a lot.
Let's just do 3 more before we finish. Newcastle, Sunderland.
Not bothered. I mean, I watched the FA Cup game in January and I was really looking forward to it, and the skill gap was just too big.
Yeah, but I think you have to take that away from...
Same as Sunderland and Everton. Everton and Liverpool. It's exactly the same. It really matters to Sunderland. It really matters to Everton. There's a real, authenticity to that. But if the skill gap's there, it loses the quality for me to want to watch it. So I'm not demeaning any of these rivalries. They're all relevant. It's just whether I want to watch it. I mean, look, as I said, Celtic Rangers is massive. I'll watch the North London derby, but
I'm going to overrule there and go class. I really like that when it's on. Last two. Wolves v Albion, another one that's local to us, but you only have to look at the FA Cup game last year. There was a 15-minute police interval while it all kicked off. Wolves fans in the Albion end. It's got a lot of spice. It's got a lot of taste. Sometimes miss each other, but then have had a lot of time where they played each other in the Premier League, in the Championship. I think this one, not pure hatred for me. I would put it up in great viewing.
Good, you do it then.
Yeah, great. You sure?
I won't be watching it.
And then the last one, what's on this list that we got here? There's quite a few on here.
Do Palace Brighton.
Palace Brighton is on here.
I've never really understood it. It's something to do with the motorway, isn't it?
Oh, I thought it was to do with who managed them in the 80s. Is it not Graham Taylor? Terry Venables. Terry Venables went left to go from one to the other. That's where it all kicked off. It's a rivalry, but I think the problem with this is TV channels. They'd be like 12:30 kickoff coming up this weekend. Crystal Palace Brighton, and immediately if you don't know the context, you're like, brilliant.
Yeah. So some clubs just don't like each other, and it's got nothing to do with success or anything else.
That'd be another good one to do. Rivalries that aren't rivalries.
Yeah.
Teams that you hate.
You probably should have done that one.
Man United Leeds is in it. We can do that next time. We've got plenty of contracts.
Man United Leeds is a big rivalry. Yeah.
Where would you put that?
I'd put it a bit ahead of some bloody rivalries. I mean, but again, it's a bit like Everton Liverpool. Leeds don't like us. We used to have a rivalry. Man United just don't see it as a rivalry anymore, but Leeds do. So I always like Man United Leeds because they really don't like us. But yeah, I wouldn't put it as a. I mean, for me, it's a must watch, and it's pure hatred.
I'll put that as a decent watch, and then let's finish because we've not got a mare. Let's do Palace Brighton as mare.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Shake your hand on that. Well, thank you for that. That was really good fun. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and I'll be back soon for the next one. Thanks, Mark.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.